Assault Shigaraki is back with another video here, and you guys are really going to enjoy this one. This game is absolutely crazy. And for those of you who don't just want to see a good match, but also want to learn more about how to make the most of this new Shigaraki's kit, this is another great match for you to watch. I use his abilities very well here, I believe. Again, still early days, so no one knows what the true peak of using this kit will be, but for those of you looking to get on the right track, this is an absolute must watch because this Shigaraki gets taken to pretty much the very limit, and I need to use absolutely everything in my arsenal to basically get as far as I can get in this match when the chips go down and everyone starts scrounging. So for those of you who want to see how to use this kit, not just in a, meandering, leisurely way, but you want to see how to use this kit when you have your back up against the wall, when you have nowhere to go, when you have people on your tail, this is the kind of match you want to watch, because this is going to give you ideas as to how you're going to use Assault Assault Shigaraki. We need to find out some sort of nickname for him. Assault Shigaraki when, it's not going to be lackadaisical. It's not going to be easy times. You need to know how to use this character when you're being pressured, when it doesn't look like you're going to win, because that's when you really do need to know the ways to use him. So I rolled up with two randoms here, a Derby and a Suyu. Floppy-chan. And this Derby's got that pretty awesome white haired Derby outfit. See, I love that outfit. I would absolutely love to get that outfit, but I don't use Derby anywhere near enough to warrant me burning through every single one of my tickets that it's probably going to take for me to get it. So when it comes to chasing as Shigaraki, as you can see, if it's like a really confident chase where the guy just does not want to fight you whatsoever, you just want to be chasing him down, following his pattern, obviously being wary for him to turn around at any moment. But instead of just throwing it at his feet, you want to start throwing it in the directions that he's looking to turn. So as you can see, if you go back, I was not just throwing it, willy-nilly at the Kiri from behind. I was trying to throw it at ways where I'm like, is he going to go right here? Let me throw it down onto the right a bit. And then he'll go to the right and then he gets hit by it. You need to basically see where he's going and put it on his way as opposed to behind him. If they're running in a straight line, then by all means, just put it behind them, you'll get it. But if they are going to be looking to twist and turn, before throwing that alpha out, just think, okay, where's he looking to go? And plan your shot from there. And also, I think during that chase as well, I used his Gamma. So you can use the Gamma to chase them pretty straightforward. But if you want to do damage on that, you just hold it down and then he'll do the ground attack, which I got on that Kiri as well. So not only did I catch up to him with it, but I also caused damage with it. So it was like a 2-for-1. So you don't always need to use that ground slam with your Gamma, because most of the time it's just going to lock you in place when you probably don't want it for a bit. But there are times when you're chasing where it can actually be quite beneficial to do so. I like to throw my betas into situations like that just to, one, disorientate people, just to get them, what's the word I'm looking for, panicky. Because when a player's panicking, they're going to play worse. So I just throw that in there just to give them an extra thing on top to think about of what they're already thinking about. And then I like to do my stuff. And if I get damage off the beta, great. And if I don't, then I know it's at least making them uncomfortable, which makes me feel better. Not because I'm a sadist, but because I know if they're uncomfortable, they're going to make worse decisions than if they were feeling, happy-go-lucky. Like, hey man, everything's great right now. When you're in that state of mind, you make a lot of good decisions. Let me just fast forward this so you don't need to see me doing this. But when someone's like, antsy, they don't know if they're about to be alive within the next 5 seconds or if they're going to start taking damage, they do all kinds of silly stuff. This is going to be an interesting one for you guys to watch, because there's a lot of times where I think I'm about to land a hit on this Ibarra, but I don't get it. And you're going to see why I don't get it. There's one right there. There's one right there. There was partially one there. There's one right there. So you see what's happening when a character like this, again, there's one right there. When there's a character who is levitating even just a tiny bit above the ground, your alpha is not gonna land. So you need to be wary when dealing, because that was the first time I've ever faced an Ibarra with this character, and it was an eye-opener for me. Like, okay, hey, I can't just throw these out if she's going to be attacking in midair, and each attack she does in midair makes her levitate in midair for a bit. Because then if that's the case, then I'm going to start wasting alphas when I think I'm about to land, because I think she's going to hit the ground, but if she doesn't hit the ground, my alpha's wasted. So when you're facing certain people like that, keep that in mind. I'm not a fan of how long it takes to end someone with his alpha once they're down, but there are far worse people to finish off downed people with, so I won't complain too much. That was a lovely beta. Like, he just ran into my circle of death. That was unfortunate for me. When you're using the Gamma as well as Shigaraki to get out of the way of stuff, I would also highly recommend try to use that Gamma not just to get away in one direction, but to reach a new level of platform or terrain. That's what I would like you guys to do when you're escaping as Shigaraki. Notice how, like, when I was escaping as Shigaraki, I tried to get onto something. I tried to get onto a staircase, onto a building, onto a ledge. I tried to get onto something with Shigaraki that changes my elevation. I tried to over there, but then I realized too late that the zone was about to cut me off, so I had to switch. But then I got to a new form of elevation instead, which is that one. So when you're escaping with Shigaraki's Gamma, you always want to go, if you can, to a new elevation, unless you don't need to. Like in that instance, I didn't need to go to a new elevation there. I knew I was clear. But when you're in the thick of it, you know, try to get onto a staircase, onto a building, onto a platform. Even if it's just something that will make your line of sight be broken. Like, try to get behind something or around something that doesn't make it straightforward for them to follow. Even if you think it's not going to do much, it might just make them take an extra 1 or 2 seconds to get to you. That could change things for you. That could literally be the difference. I've won and lost games on, you know, a second or 2 seconds that was afforded to me or not afforded to me. So every little bit helps. Look at this twice, he's running for his life. See, my tactics were working there of, you know, try to follow their pattern and then like predict it, but it was countered because he was going around stuff. So that's something you need to think about when you're chasing someone to Shigaraki like that. If they're going around things, you can't really predict their left or rights because you're going to have a building blocking you off. So, like with the Kiri earlier, he didn't have, or he either wasn't having anything or he wasn't clever enough to maneuver out of my way the way he needed to by using the terrain and the walls. So I got him. But that one, he circled around a building because he realized that my trails of attack can't follow around him. So whether you're running from a Shigaraki, you might want to keep that in mind, or if you're chasing as a Shigaraki, you're going to want to keep that in mind. And that's good, by the way. We don't want it to be able to go around things, because then that'd just be messed up. I hate when, like, you throw it out and it just gets blocked by something and nothing comes out. See that? Sometimes if you've got positioning to spare and ammo to spare, look at what I'm doing. I got down off that. Now, some of you might be like, well, that was lucky. Kind of. It's not completely lucky because I knew what I was doing. I knew they was in that vicinity. I knew I was aiming it correctly by overthrowing my aim so that it would go as far as possible to dip into that region. The only lucky part of it was that someone was still there when I was throwing it. That's the only lucky part of it. The entire thing, I'm planning to do that. So if you do have good positioning, sometimes it's worthwhile. If you know a fight is happening in a little corner or somewhere to the side, just start tossing stuff out. If you feel like you're going to need your alpha within the next 10 seconds, then maybe don't do that because you're going to want to hold on to it. But I felt where I was standing, no one's bothering me. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And, you know, as the next few passages of time went by, I was in the right. No one did bother me for that small period of time. So my alpha all came back and I got down in the process. So just more things for you to add to your Shigaraki game. Watch this video as many times as you need to get the most out of this. And again, if you haven't got this character and you're like, I really wish I had this guy, man. Trust me, I feel you. But what you can be doing is instead learning all of this stuff to put it against the people who drew this Shigaraki. So if you're facing guys who have this Shigaraki, you want to like reverse engineer all this advice to make yourself have a better chance against them. And then when you do get him, if you want him, great. I spent about 1,100 tickets on this guy. 1,100, 1,200 tickets. Which is funny, because I don't like this character. And I don't mean I don't like playing as him. I mean, I hate Shigaraki. I hate Shigaraki in the show. I hate this guy. So it's always funny whenever you guys ask me to play as Shigaraki or you like my Shigaraki videos. Because I hate this guy. I can't stand him. He's doing his job as a villain because I do not like him whatsoever. But he is fun to play in this. And as fun as his strike version is, for me, this version is way funner. You know, he looked at Kirishima and he said, if you're going to defy gravity, then I'm going to do it too. And Mount Lady, if you're going to slide upwards like some sort of anti-grav Tony Hawk, then I'm going to go and do the same thing. So if there's anyone, I don't like Shigaraki whatsoever, but if there's anyone out there that's going to be like, hey, he shouldn't be able to jump up like that, take a look at your Mount Ladies and Kirishimas first, because those guys are flying around with no reason to be flying around. So I think it's okay that he has this ability with his Gamma to fly up in the air. So again, the way I like to use my beta, if I'm not directly trying to get someone from afar, I just like to make people think twice about coming towards me. That's how I like to use my beta a lot of the time. Not all of the time, but you guys see it. Sometimes I just use it to say, hey, I'm sure you're a nice guy, but I don't want you anywhere near me. And then I'll just throw it down somewhere that will block off their entrance to me or make them think twice about coming over. And then I can do what I want after that. You can also use it to lead people. I missed both of those. But watch how I realize my misses lead her into where I want her to go. I'm like, okay, you want to do that then? I got you here now. So don't necessarily think of your abilities as separate from one another. Even though I missed both of my betas, some people are like, well, he missed both of those, what a waste. I guess you could look at it that way. But both of those being wasted made her had to go into a direction that I could read the entire length of, which then allowed me to get my alphas off, no problem. So I used the beta to land my alpha. Would I have loved to hit those betas? Sure. But remember, you can use, you know, something that didn't go well and turn it into something that goes well. Look at that. And I got just about to getting that done and then I flopped it because I went too early. Look at that. Twice goes down here. And I'm getting hit by Twice's knives of his clone. This freaking guy who's basically dead, his clone nearly cost me this part of the match. Can you imagine? I would have been furious. Some dead Twice's clone just having a massive impact. Alright, this is a 1v2 now. 1v2 for all the cards. What's the story here? Darby decides that he's got a thing for frogs, and so he teams up with one to overthrow Shigaraki to become the new Prince of Crime, and his princess is gonna be not anyone else but Froppy-chan. But she's secretly thinking, I'm gonna turn this guy into a hero after we become partners, or something like that. At least now we have a bit of story. So as you can see, that those homing shots are really making my day, clearly. So I had to get out of the way of that. Now I've got no shields left. And I've got a very eager Froppy and a very watchful A very watchful derby. So what I'm doing here with my gamma, I'm trying to make it as 1v1 as possible with my gammas whenever I feel like taking a Froppy on her own. Because I'm trying to not deal with them both at the same time if I can help it. It's hard, but sometimes I'm going to basically just need to deal with one instead of both. But at the same time, I can't leave Darby alone too much. You'd be like, well, why are you going back for Darby then? If I leave Darby alone for too long, he gets full heals, and then I need to deal with a full health Darby. So I'm basically trying to play both ends here, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So that's why I couldn't leave the Darby alone for too long, because I didn't want him to get all of his health back and everything. But you know, it's something to think about. So now I'm playing in the small areas. I don't want to be on the outside there, because if I'm on the outside, then Darby can hit me with all of his stuff easier than if I'm in here. And it makes it weirder for Froppy to come after me. If I'm standing out in the open here, Froppy can get at me way easier. Because I'm on the inside, it's so claustrophobic for these guys. And again, I'm using my gammas for height. And I'm just blocking off all the space I can with my alpha, with my beta. I know I've got my plus ultra soon. So I throw a final alpha out there. And I go up high. I'm going to use my betas to control the space. And that's how you get it done. The reason why I like to do 2 gammas sometimes is just it gives me more height, so it gives me more time to do more things. Gives you more time to think as well. You need to think in the air. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. A lot of advice there. Apply it to your own Shigaraki. GG's. Alright, this is just another kind of throwaway game. You can see more Shigaraki action here, but I'm not really going to be breaking anything down. Just hanging out, chatting, killing the time. When I used to work in the gym, so this was over 6 or 7 years ago, there was this older fella. He used to go there. He was a customer, and I want to get your guys' take on this, because when I heard this at the time, I was just stumped. But I was maybe, I don't know, like, what, 19 or 20 at the time. I think some people ask how old I am. I'm 28 as of today. So that's my age. So this was, maybe like, you know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So anyway, he was an older fella. And, so, you know, sometimes you just talk to customers that come in the gym. And he was telling me about how he likes to sometimes go out and, you know, into the wilderness, and, you know, he'll take like a hammock and like a tent and all this stuff, and he'll just sleep out there, like very rarely, but he'll like to do it. And I was like, that sounds like hell to me, but okay, because I hate bugs. I don't like bugs. So anywhere where there's gonna be an abundance of bugs is just immediately a no for me. I do not like bugs. So anyway, and he says one time he fell out of a tree. And he said it was a big tree. And I was like, wow, okay. And he said he landed flat on his back from about, I'm going off memory here, but about 20 feet. I'm just going off memory though. He said he landed flat on his back from about 20 feet. And I said, wow. I said, that must have hurt you so much. We haven't gotten to the point yet where I was unsure of what he was trying to tell me. But I said to him, how did you fall on your back? Would it not have been better for you to try to land on your feet? And this is where it comes in, the point what I'm bringing up to you guys today. Even to this day I still remember it. He said, no. He said, if you're ever falling from somewhere high, your goal should be to land flat on your back. And I looked at him, and I was thinking, I think you're talking bullshit right now. I didn't say that, because I'm a polite person. But I was looking at him and I'm thinking, nah, that don't sound right. So rather than just say, okay, I decided to press him a little bit, respectfully. So I just went, so you're telling me, if you fall from somewhere high, you shouldn't try to land on your legs? And he says, no, you want to land on your back. You want to put your arms out by your side and land as flat as possible. And I said, so again, just to be certain, you're telling me not to try and land on your legs, your feet, not to try and land and roll, not to try and land down and cushion onto your side, telling me if I fall from a great height, my first instinct should be to turn around, put my arms out to my side, and land on my back. Yes. I said, are you sure? And he goes, I'm telling you, that's the way you want to land. It's the safest way to land from a high fall. And I said, on any surface, grass, concrete. He's like, yep, anything. Anything. I'm just looking at him and I'm thinking, that can't be right. I never looked into this, but it just came into my mind the other day. And I was thinking, that just can't be right. If you were to fall from a high height, surely you don't want to fall flat on your back because you're going to break your back or something. But according to him, it's the safest way to land. And so in the end, I was like, okay, fine. I said, I can't promise you that if I fall from somewhere high in the future, I'm gonna land on my back. And then he goes, he had a big mustache. He just twirled it. He goes, I'm telling you, man. He was an older guy. He must have been at least like 50, 60 or so. But he was very adamant that you, if you fall from a high place, just turn around and try to land as flat as possible. I'm telling you, man, that does not sound healthy. I just want to bring it up to you guys because I don't know if it will raise your eyebrows as much as it raised mine when I heard it. Because it just seemed like the most ridiculous thing I'd heard all week. On that week, I heard it. What do you guys think? If you were to fall from a high place and you're anticipating damage on this fall, like this isn't you just jumped off a slide. Oh, that was a bit precarious, wasn't it? No, nothing like that. You were falling and you're thinking this could get a bit emotional upon landing. You know, how are you looking to land yourself personally? Don't Google search or anything like that. Just off the top of your head, how are you gonna try and land? See, for me, I'm gonna try and land with like bent legs and try and maybe like cushion it onto my side. I don't know, because it seems daunting either way. But with all of that said, I cannot imagine just turning around, looking up at the sky and preparing to crash against the ground flat is the best option. Doesn't seem right. What would you guys do? It's gotta be nonsense, right? Has to be. Anyways, leave a like. See you next time.